Jordan, the ring chose you.
How?
Anything I see in my mind, I can create.
We face an unprecedented danger. It's headed for Earth.
Brightest day, blackest night. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power.
Green Lantern's light!
Green Lantern. This film is not yet rated. Starts June 17th.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zaki Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zaki?
I'm doing very well. I feel like our selection for today is going to have some people scratching their head. I think you and I may well be scratching our heads at the outset here.
But there are no coincidences. There is a reason we're actually doing this week, right?
That's right. So we are talking through 2011's Green Lantern, which was released 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. Worth mentioning, 15 years ago in June. However, as we record this, it is just before the premiere of HBO's new series Lanterns, which is an attempt to revive this and turn it into a franchise now. What wasn't what they weren't able to do before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you mentioned Green Lantern has become almost like a shorthand, as like a stinker.
I think Ryan Reynolds has almost single-handedly ensured that, right?
He's certainly benefited a lot, giving himself some snark cred for dissing on this for a very long time and in several movies. So
between Ryan Reynolds dogging on Green Lantern and George Clooney dogging on Batman and Robin, right?
Oh, that's a good comparison. Yeah. Yeah. But I got to say, I was intrigued to go back because that's what it's become in my mind. Like, oh, that's a dog.
Yeah.
That everyone agrees on. But I have not seen this since 2011 in the theaters. So I was curious to watch it again, and maybe with some time and a lot of other movies that I've ingested since then, maybe I'll look at it a little differently or be a little softer on it or see it as this little underdog that isn't so bad.
Maybe we can find room in our heart for the dog nobody loved.
Exactly. So I was genuinely interested in doing that. So,
well, and before we even get into it, I should say, I mean, what a time capsule of like superhero cinema, like where it was at in the early 2010s.
Uh-huh.
And what was it responding to? What was it anticipating without even realizing it? That's all of that is woven into this, and I think that is itself fascinating. Well, hey, it sounds like we'll have a lot to say.
I think so.
And as a reminder, if you do want to hear this commentary track ad-free, which is, of course, the best way to do that if you would like to watch along with us, I would recommend hitting up our Patreon page, right, Brian?
Yes, it's super easy. Head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast, subscribe for only $5 a month, and you get ad-free versions of our regular show, all our commentaries, and bonus episodes that drop about twice a month over there. So, yeah, if you want to watch this and not have to have ads or interruptions butting in, especially if you're trying to follow along the commentary with the movie, head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast.
Well, hey, let's dive in. So we are watching the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
There is an extended cut, which is 10 minutes longer. And I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? 10 minutes shorter is fine with me.
Right.
I'm good. I don't know what's in those 10 minutes, admittedly. Maybe you do. I don't know if you did a little digging on that.
I did a little digging.
Okay, good. I'll trust you to fill me in.
Sure.
Because I'm good.
Yeah. Well, after Troy, which I didn't mind watching the director's cut, by the way, but that was a significant amount of added time. I didn't even look into how much longer the Green Lantern director's cut was. It's only about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, I might have watched it just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah, if I owned it, we haven't even started the movie yet. But yeah, this was my thought process. If I already owned it, I would have watched that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, on Vudu, it was like $15. I'm like, you know what? I'm not $15 worth of curious.
Oh, well, I will say this. If anyone happens to be curious, the director's cut is available on HBO Max.
There you go.
In 2026.
And I wasn't even curious enough to see if I had access to that version unpaid. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy, to be fair, I think the director's cut is a substantial improvement. Over
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the case. Anyway, hey, whatever. Let's do this. Let's watch Green Lantern.
Let's do it.
All right. If you want to watch along with us, again, it's the theatrical cut, and we're going to do the usual thing. We'll do 1, 2, 3, play. Brian, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, play.
All right. Warner Brothers.
See, I even as I look at this logo, I'm mourning that we don't get the dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah. Wait, I don't even remember. What did they? Is it just score?
It's just score.
Okay.
It's James Newton Howard, who I adore, very much phoning it in.
I was gonna say I saw that it was him when it ended, and I had no idea. Typically, you can kind of, like Thomas Newman or these certain people, you can kind of recognize their personalities, but I didn't even clock the score while I was watching the movie.
No,
it just is stuff in the background.
It's very lackluster, which kind of sums up the energy in the movie. Actually, before we get too deep, I want to talk about this. Talk about right up top. It's like a stake in the ground, this intro with this narration being like, if you don't already know this, good effing luck.
Yeah.
This is Jeffrey Rush being like, whatever, y'all.
I will admit, I took it pretty seriously. I was like, wait, hold on, slow down.
You're like drawing a die, you're mapping it out, you're doing the math. Yeah.
I kind of was in my head because I was like, I really do want to give this a fair shake, and I was trying to keep up.
This is where now, obviously, so the contrast between you and I is that whatever familiarity you have with Green Lantern likely is rooted in this film, probably.
Yeah, or you clarifying something,
yeah. For me, I mean, gosh, I was reading Green Lantern comics throughout the 90s into the 2000s. I was a big fan, and even I was like, this is too much.
Really?
Like, this is all too much.
Like all at the beginning?
Yeah, I think none of what we just got, all of the voiceover from Jeffrey Rush about the 3,600 sectors and the and none of that is necessary.
See, it feels like you could do that later as...
That's right.
Yeah, Hal is being introduced to the world.
Yeah.
Everything you thought you knew about the universe, think again. And then he gets the speech or something.
Yeah, when I talk about Star Wars, A New Hope Star Wars, I talk about it being like a funnel. You're traveling through the narrow part of a funnel, and then it widens out and widens out, widens out.
Yeah, that's good.
In that we start, in medias res with the blockade runner. We're dropped into the universe, and then through the droids, through Luke, we're introduced piece by piece to the broader universe.
Yeah, taking our first step into a larger world.
That's exactly right. And so all of this, like none of this, with Parallax being freed and whatever, I don't think we need any of that. I think you start with Ab and Sur attacked in space. He crashes. There's you come in on that.
I totally agree. And I couldn't back this up, so I wasn't going to mention it, but now I am going to mention it, saying I can't back it up. But I read a few accounts of things, the turbulence the making of this movie had, and according to someone, I can't back this up, but this was added later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with you. Why just drop us in the deep end of the pool?
Right.
Like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, let's start with meet Hal. This is his life. He's like this. And then something extraordinary happens and we get pulled into this, crazy adventure with him.
Yeah. So like that all, I think this was in the midst of that era where sentient space clouds were the villain du jour.
Was there another one? Because I definitely remember this one, but
there was the Fantastic Four sequel.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Right. They were like, well, people will never buy a giant spaceman, so let's just make it a giant space cloud.
Right.
Problem solved.
Well, and it is difficult to wrap your head around. I mean, you right off the bat, this movie is like, are you in or are you out?
That's exactly. And the majority of the audience said very vehemently, we are out.
Yes, because that villain is basically like a head.
Yeah.
With a cloud body, like, like, so, I mean, yeah, it's asking a lot of you right away.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's not about the mythology being silly or stupid or whatever. I think your audience will go along with you,
Mm-hmm.
but you do kind of have to take them by the hand.
Totally.
And I think by taking them by the hand, that has to be an active process rather than Jeffrey Rush just spouting a bunch of numbers up top and saying, everybody got that?
Right.
You know, I mean, all this here, I mean, Tamara Morrison is great. Mark Strong is great. Like they're all doing the job. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think this is all just too much. I think we should be entering this world through Hal's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to end up being at least for me, the critique throughout this project, because he feels very passive for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for a character who, like, what's written on the tin is he's without fear. That's the Green Lantern motto.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's not even like, don't be afraid, because I think that's valuable for a character. But I'm like, I think that fear needs to be articulated through more than kind of a Mad Libs fashion that this movie does. Right. Because it feels to me, and you tell me if you disagree, it feels like the DC folks were like, man, Marvel is lapping us with their universe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta get something going, and they took Batman Begins and Iron Man and put them in a blender and added some Green Lantern ornaments.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. This is pre Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
When studios realized, audiences really will go with some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
if it's compelling enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think, I mean, so you were talking about the production process being very fraught. I think part of the reason for that is Martin Campbell was brought in early. He's, at least in the development of this version. I mean, there was a whole lengthy production chain before this, which I'm sure we'll get to. But Warner Brothers went behind his back and hired Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Which is insane.
Yeah, because I guess Campbell wanted Bradley Cooper.
And you can absolutely see, well, I'll say two things. I think Bradley Cooper absolutely would have been better in the role.
Yes.
I also don't think Bradley Cooper would have escaped unscathed from this movie.
Agree.
So he dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's, well, actually, my question is, what is Hal Jordan like? Is Hal Jordan like this version of the character here? Kind of like a, I don't know, not fratty, but you know what I mean? Kind of like a dude. I mean, with a chick, and now he's like driving. He's very Van Wilder here, isn't he? That's what I mean, and like this, I think this whole introduction just feels like very 2011 or like aughts even, of like, here's our hero. Like,
this is the stuff I think about. We see him drive. Oh, he's late and he's this and that. And he's wrapping a gift.
Yes.
While he's driving to this thing. Now the party is not until later.
I was wondering if this was because they brought in editors behind Campbell's back to re-edit this thing. And I was wondering if this is all out of order. Sorry, I just cut you off.
It must be, right? Because
I just feel so validated. I was thinking about that. I'm like, that's so weird. And then also just, I don't know. I mean, I know this is not the most egregious thing, but having him late and he's wrapping this present in newspaper with his teeth, and he's like almost hitting people in oncoming traffic. Immediately, I'm like, I don't like this guy.
That's the thing, right? So it's very clear that they're doing like the Tony Stark template, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's like they sort of got the surface level Tony Starkness,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, he's snarky and he's irresponsible, but they didn't get the underlying, like, what is Downey and that movie conveying about Tony Stark before he becomes a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like sort of movie hotshot shorthand. And I suppose, just to circle back to the question before, is Hal Jordan like this in the comic books? I mean, I suppose, he's I think this is more like they're trying to make him like Maverick. And I think he's more like a Chuck Yeager. So he is a daredevil, but not irresponsible,
Yeah.
Because being a test pilot, I mean, it's no joke,
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's it. I don't mind that he's a hotshot or that he pushes things too far, but he does feel a little, I don't know, a little too devil may care for me to like be with him initially or something. Like I would be annoyed. It's like that thing we talk about where you watch Top Gun as an adult and you're like, I don't know, like maybe Iceman's onto something.
I think Iceman is right. Yeah.
But
I think that was the conclusion you and I both arrived at when we did our commentary. We're like, no, he's right.
Yeah. But the movie's still good, even watching it through that lens. You're watching a guy who's very talented, but untamed grow.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't feel like that journey is as successfully executed here. And I don't know exactly, I mean, script, portrayal, I don't know, take your pick, but it just didn't happen for me in this story.
Well, I mean, partly this opening sequence, the point is, okay, I have several issues here. First of all, the Ferris Air is trying to sell these drones to the military.
Yeah.
So you tell me why the military would be like, oh, you're going to have your own pilots in a demonstration against the drones you're trying to sell us, right? Because this hinges on the drones defeating the pilots. Hal Jordan's just an idiot here.
Right.
But even still, wouldn't the military be like, okay, here's Airman Johnson and Airman Smith that we're going to have, right?
Yeah, here's our best guys.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, even conceptually, it doesn't make sense.
That, I didn't even cross my mind. That's hilarious.
Right? The fact that he defeated the drones by doing this asinine, stupid thing, that was unplanned. But even still, it doesn't make sense.
Right. By the way, so he has these flashbacks here, right?
Yeah. Total hot shots.
Yes. Which is not what you want to evoke. I had the same thought. But I guess that wasn't the plan to have those things woven back and forth with each other here. That was part of the deleted stuff.
Okay.
I think it opened with Hal and Carol as kids and moments with the father. And I got to say, we can get to it, but I didn't feel a lot of chemistry between Lively and Reynolds, strangely, considering
weird,
they're
right?
married now. But I wonder if that would have helped me understand their relationship as adults, knowing that they had this, I don't know, meaningful relationship ever since they were kids.
Yeah, well, just from what you're describing, I mean, that's the way you start. You start with Hal's father dying, and then you have Hal wake up or whatever, and that gives us at least a little bit of context.
Yeah, why he's so scrappy. Yeah. Well. But you had a couple other thoughts. I don't want to.
Well, just circling back to what I was saying about Martin Campbell. I mean, you and I have spent many an hour on this podcast singing his praises.
Yeah, I had this written down because I didn't want to forget. But he's an excellent director, and so I don't understand what happened here. I mean, Goldeneye.
I mean, he got
Casino
defeated
Royale,
by this movie. Yeah,
the Zorro films. I think he is a top tier action director.
Yeah.
His movies themselves, the stories or whatever, may not live up to some of the best action movies, but his skill set, his eye, his vision. Casino Royale, I think, is one of the best action movies of the 21st century.
Don't you just want to see Hal's dad get flung into the forest and then have like antlers and he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yes. And then realize that like his friends accidentally ate him for Thanksgiving. Yeah, which is a reference to Hot Shots for people who are like, what the hell?
See, so okay, so we're going to talk about Martin Campbell again, but
Yeah,
see,
sorry.
I don't understand this. Hal's whole job is to sell them on the drones.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he have even thought this was a good idea?
Right.
You know?
right.
I mean, it's structurally it doesn't make any sense, and that feels like a very simple thing. Just don't. You're not trying to just. It doesn't have to be drones. It could be an aircraft that Ferris Air is trying, and so that's you. Or you have you switch the roles, right? I mean, either way.
Mm-hmm.
What happens now is, we're not getting this contract, we're going to lose all these people. Well, that is entirely Hal Jordan's fault.
You know what's so funny? When those guys come up to him in the parking lot and they're like about to like beat him up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, I could see myself several years ago being like, oh no, like you got to get out of the situation. But last night I was like, I kind of get where they're coming from. Like a lot of people just lost their jobs over him being an idiot.
See, even if like during the course of the exercise, something trips inside of him.
Yeah.
And he's not doing the assignment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that would require, like, you got to have a little bit of, you have to pave the road with some character beats, you know?
Yeah.
So I should say, I looked at my old review 15 years ago for this movie that I wrote, and with regards to Blake Lively, I said that if you say it with air quotes, her last name is an ironic commentary on her performance in this movie. And I was like, man, I was a real bitch back
then. That's hilarious.
That's very mean. However, that being said, I don't think she acquits herself particularly well in this film. And I know she's capable of much more because I've seen her before and since. She was fantastic in The Town, which was just a year before this.
And The Shallows, by the way, a movie that I don't feel like a lot of people have seen.
Yeah.
Of someone who's basically stranded on the water and there are sharks and how do they survive? And
it's like Fall, but with water.
Wow, apparently that is the genre I really enjoy.
That's your sweet spot.
Yeah, but she's very good in that. So yeah.
I think both she and Ryan bonded over their shared trauma for making this movie. And hey, you know what? God bless.
Yeah, great.
You know. So this whole, it'd be nice if this whole sequence with the family had any bearing on anything that happens in the rest of the movie.
I mean, this moment with him and his nephew, it's like the only thing we really get to show that he's kind of a good guy, at least in the first act here. Like what's underneath all the hotshot shenanigans. I don't know. But yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, they don't play into anything else after this.
Like I feel like, see, I don't know. This I think partly you look at this with 15 years of hindsight, and at least me, I'm like, I think Ryan Reynolds is a little too young. I think he needed to be fermented a little bit,
Interesting. Yeah. Wait, can I mention real quick? So I saw something in the scene I hadn't seen in a long time, which is an actor go to the refrigerator and take out a carton of milk and just start drinking from the carton itself.
Freaking gross.
That was such a staple.
It was a trope.
It was a trope, a move in the 80s and 90s. And even back then, I was like, who does that? And it's just such a weird... And if someone came into my place and grabbed like a milk carton and just put their mouth on it and started drinking, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like,
get out.
I've got glasses. But yeah, get out. But I actually looked into this because I was like, why do they do this? And it's sort of related to why a lot of people eat out of Chinese food containers on TV. Because you see that a lot. Because usually, when you get those containers, you put the food out onto a plate or something. But they do it to hide continuity. So all you have is actors holding a box and chopsticks, and it doesn't even matter what's in there, how much is in there. It's never going to go up or down from different takes. And so I thought, that must be why they do the milk carton thing, because you can't see what's inside.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, no, that's actually really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Or, it'd be orange juice or whatever it is. Something you can't see through. And they get to hold it in their hand and have some business while they're
Why
acting.
not just give people cups that are not transparent?
That's a great question.
I feel like that might crack the case.
Wouldn't it be funny if we had an opportunity to talk to Martin Campbell for 5 minutes and that's the question we asked him?
So in Green Lantern, when he was drinking from the cart, I mean, isn't that gross?
Yeah. I mean, we were thinking about it. If you could just stick with it, go with us on this. What we have 2 minutes left? Okay. Why don't you use a glass that you can't see through? Oh, that's our time? Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you and talk about this film.
Now, I should say, this movie had gone through the process. I mean, the famous Hollywood development pipeline was interminable when it came to this movie. Kevin Smith was asked to write it back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's because he had just done a draft of Superman, right?
That's right. He did Superman Lives.
So they must have liked it. I always wondered what Kevin Smith's script for Superman would be like.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Warner Brothers was happy with it.
Yeah, you can read it. It's pretty
really?
easily accessible. Yeah, it's out there. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember reading it back then. I thought it was pretty good.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, just as I read it at the time, and it was. I mean, he just threw all the toys in the toy chest onto the page.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't mean that I don't think it wouldn't be good. It's just his genre is so strictly comedy,
right?
And
right.
sort of wacky sorts of things. Like this Red State aside, but I would just be curious what that looks like. Him doing the superhero thing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't like Superman telling Lex Luthor how he sucked 47 dicks or whatever. It wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Very little of that, know. But yeah, I think Warner Brothers at that point, they were just asking Kevin Smith to do everything, right? Because they wanted him to do a Beetlejuice sequel.
Oh, that's right. Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian.
That's right. It's again another bullet dodged.
One of his quotes he said many, many times over the years. His question to Warner Brothers was, "Must we go tropical?" That always stuck with me. I thought that was so funny.
So Kevin Smith passes. He's like, Green Lantern's really not my thing. It gets kick around some more. At one point, Robert Smigel wrote a version for Jack Black. I'm sure you heard about this.
That is fascinating. Yeah, I read about this.
I remember when this was being talked about. Like, I remember when that was contemporaneous. And being like, well, doesn't sound good. We're talking like 2004-ish, right? So this was, and I can offer comic book context in a little bit, but at that time I was definitely still reading Green Lantern comics, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Well, and it's not going to be taken seriously.
Exactly, right. And what's funny though, and you tell me, when you say a Green Lantern starring Jack Black in 2004, 2005, can't you just sort of like already imagine what that looks like in your head?
Definitely.
Like mid 2000s comedies and what those were like.
Definitely. And for people who don't know, Robert Smigel was an SNL writer. He does Triumph, the Insult Dog comic. He was a big voice at the Conan O'Brien show for many, many years. So like a very, very funny comedic guy. The TV Funhouse animated shorts on SNL. So that voice.
Right.
With Jack Black.
And Jack Black would not have played Hal Jordan or any other Green Lantern character. Judd Plato was the character they created, and he would have used the ring to create like Britney Spears, and to make his junk bigger. So very, very mid 2000s.
Very, very, wow.
Right. So there was a backlash against that. And then at one point, Zack Snyder was asked to do it. And he was making Watchmen. And then yada, yada. DC just watches Marvel just take off. Now, bear in mind, I mean, this is even before the Avengers, right? But already Marvel had begun building out their universe. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's the reason they sort of fast-tracked it. In terms of Green Lantern itself, so at this time, so back in '94, sorry, this is Zachy teaches comic history to Brian.
No, I always look forward to this.
So in 1994, DC, having looked at the success of Doomsday, where they killed off Superman, and Nightfall, where they broke Batman's back, they were like, what else can we do? What's like another big event? So they had Hal Jordan turn evil. And it was a really big deal at the time. It was called Emerald Twilight. And essentially you had a situation where Hal Jordan's city, Coast City, was destroyed while he was in space. It was just reduced to nothing, just a crater. And he's like, this is my fault. I wasn't here to protect my city. So he uses his ring to bring it back. And the Guardians show up and they're like, you can't do that. Like, this is against the rules. And he's like, F your rules. If you won't let me do this, I'm going to use my power. I'm going to take all of your power. And he goes nuts.
Wow.
And he basically, he heads back to Oa, right here where we are.
Well, I was going to say,
he just kills every Green Lantern from here to there.
Okay, question.
Yes.
I really love that idea of him kind of losing it because he feels the guilt over his home being destroyed and him using his powers to recreate it. That's really, really compelling.
Yeah.
This turn now with him just killing all these people, how did that play for you as a longtime fan? Like, did you buy how they got there, or did that feel like too far?
So, well, I will say two things. It was extremely sudden, because that story was decided very suddenly.
Okay.
For me personally, I was in high school at the time. I didn't mind it. I was like, man, this is crazy. People older than me or people more invested in me had a big issue with that.
I can see that. I
understand.
I loved like a hero losing it over trauma or grief or something like that is really compelling. But yeah, it sounds like that is quite a twist to suddenly have
quite a turn
Luke
for a
Skywalker decide to kill all the good guys.
Hashtag not my Hal. I mean, that was well before all the Last Jedi stuff. Right. So Hal Jordan goes to Oa. He absorbs the power battery. He's like, I want more power. He goes off into space. He becomes like a godlike being. All the Guardians are dead except one who comes to Earth and has one last ring. And he finds a random person. He's like, here's a ring. Figure it out.
And he gives it to Jack Black. Judd Plato.
Judd Plato. Yeah. No, it was a character called Kyle Rayner. Who was Green Lantern, who was the solo Green Lantern for like 10 years from 94 to 2004.
Okay.
And then in 2004, 2005, they did a series called Green Lantern Rebirth, where they brought back Hal Jordan as Green Lantern and they sort of retconned what happened and they found a way to explain it and all of this, a very short version. Green Lantern, the comic became very popular again. And so there was a lot of heat behind doing it this way. It was written by a guy named Jeff Johns, who by this point, or just shortly after this, ended up becoming an executive at DC. But this movie leans heavily into what he brought.
Okay.
So you understand the desire on Warner Brothers' part to be like, okay, well, the comics are kind of, they have a little juice behind them. Let's lean into that. I think the problem for me is that the Green Lantern power is very interesting on the comic book page. It's very dull and uninteresting on the screen. I would love to hear if you agree or disagree with that.
For me, I thought there was like an old school hamminess to the concept, and like there's an oath that you must recite. Like that feels like something that like from stories my grandfather listened
kind of
to
silly
on the radio, yeah. But I did get a kick out of whenever he would create like a giant Hot Wheels loop.
Sure.
To divert things, or later he creates like a fake pool of water to catch someone so they don't smash into the ground. I actually thought that stuff was kind of fun. I wouldn't have minded more of that. Is that what you mean?
If it was more visually distinct instead of just green goop.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, it's the imagination. Right. Seeing this guy in particular. So he thinks of, I'll create those drones.
Right.
Later or whatever. I think the really cool way to do that would be see things that he's encountered throughout the movie and how he processes those things and
right.
repurposes them to save the day through his imagination. I thought that stuff was kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that, by this point, the comics started leaning really heavily into different colored cores.
Okay.
So you've got the Green Lantern core; they're powered by will. You have the Red Lanterns; they're powered by anger, and you have the Yellow Lanterns; they're powered by fear, whatever the hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the time being like, you know what? It's all just yellow colored energy. It doesn't mean it. Like,
Sure.
who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to me, that's fundamentally. I mean, it's like this is a concept that originated in originally in the 40s, but I mean this version in the 60s, and it's aimed at kids. So there is something inherently childish in it, and that's okay.
So in the comics, it's less him making funny objects and giant fists and things. It's more just like green plasma or something just being shot around.
No, you have him making objects, again, like the giant fists. That's a good example. But it's like, it's in the context of a comic book, right? It's just an image on a page and then you turn the page.
Sure.
You don't really have to reckon with kind of the goofiness of it,
Sure. Right.
Right. I mean, you mentioned the oath, right? I mean, the oath, when you break it down, I mean, it is kind of silly.
Right.
It sounds like something that would be in a children's thing in the 60s.
Yeah, or even like a radio Little Orphan Annie program. Like, say the oath along with Little Orphan Annie. I promise to be kind and generous. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so it's, it is what it is. But it made me think, oh, this must be an older character.
Right.
And I guess at some point, it was, I read this, so I'm asking. The ring was more like a magic lamp kind of a situation. Like it was more fantastical versus sci-fi, which I guess came into play a little later when science fiction in the 50s became more popular.
Right. So the original Green Lantern was created in 1940. He's called Alan Scott.
Okay.
And he essentially finds a magic lantern and he fashions a ring from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they retconned that later to sort of fold it in with the later intergalactic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that character is published in the 40s, lasted for a little while, went away.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 1960s, or maybe even the late 50s, they were like, oh, let's bring back these old concepts, but let's rejigger them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, they came up with the whole idea of the intergalactic core and and it was very heavily sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I dig.
It's totally fine, right? It's what you have to realize is during the Silver Age of comics, that was when Barry Allen first appeared. That was when Hal Jordan first appeared, but they were not the first Green Lantern and the first Flash.
Mm.
And it was only later that they instead of treating it like, what's funny is as I'm talking to you, I'm like, this is exactly like what Spider-Man No Way Home did, where it's like, oh, all of those previous versions, they counted. They're just from different universes. DC did that in the 60s.
Wow.
Where it's like, oh, no, that previous version, he's just from a different universe.
Right.
I mean, it started with Flash. And so as I'm talking, I'm like, yeah, the comics got there way early with this.
Yeah.
But I think Green Lantern's a concept. I mean, it works. It's plenty interesting. I think for me, having the core, having all the intergalactic stuff, all of that is above board. I just think it's asking too much of your audience to drop them into that. Like the scene that we saw just a little bit ago where Sinestro is pleading to the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, well, we don't know who Sinestro is. We don't know who the Guardians are.
Yeah.
We don't know any of that, right? So why not keep that in your back pocket and then wait till later in the movie to get to that?
Yeah, I've had a few, just kind of watching this thing in the background here a little bit. Like, one, Mark Strong always shows up. Like, he is just one of those people who is effortless and just exudes sort of like a gravitas. And he is so good, even behind all that makeup. I was thinking that just looking at him, like he's being very sincere.
Right.
He's showing up and you can tell.
Playing a guy called Sinestro, who we're supposed to pretend won't become a bad guy.
Right. Yeah, but I was also thinking, what is it? The Guardians? Is that what they're called? The people on the big thrones? Like, we eventually got those in the Marvel universe cinematically, but we had a lot of time to acclimate, to the fantastical stuff. And so I kind of, in a way, I admire that they just went for it. It's like, yeah, these weird people sitting up on these thrones, like that's the story.
Right.
Because I don't feel like we had a lot of that at this point. But real quick, I just want to say that I'm really, really loving what you're saying about revising the beginning, because if we had not seen any of that fantastical stuff, I was watching the scene play out where Abin Sur crash lands. And if we had just woken up with Hal and gone through his crazy day and gotten an idea of what he's like, he's kind of cocky and whatever, but he also is genuine and sincere. He's just kind of flawed and whatever. And then if suddenly this thing had crash landed in front of his truck and he ran over and this is crazy. And what is this weird object I put into my apartment? And then we also get the moment with Sarsgaard, Hector. Yeah. It's like, there's an alien and we want you to work on this. Like you were saying, we get slowly acclimated into this thing. And then if Hal were to be beamed across the cosmos and like, oh, you're a part of something you don't even understand.
Right.
That just would have helped this movie tremendously, I think.
Well, and let's talk about the pacing a little bit, right? So a couple points. I think the idea that the ring chose Hal and Hal doesn't even understand why it chose him.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The whole bit when he accidentally triggers the lantern and he recites the oath. Okay, let's roll with that. Mm-hmm. But how do you go from that to, oh, Blake Lively, you're here? Oh, you're going to go for drinks? Okay.
Right.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's strange.
Like, if this is weird because to me it's like you have the Blake Lively scene, you have this, you have him accidentally knock out the guys with the fist, and he's like, "Holy shit, what did I just do?"
Mm-hmm.
And he staggers home, and then he's talking to his lantern like, "What the hell are you?" Then he triggers it, then the oath, then he's spirited up to space. Doesn't that just make sense?
100%. Yes. Yeah. And by the way, I was saying that I can understand where these guys are coming from. I do want to be clear. I don't think it's okay to just go up and punch anyone you're not happy with.
It's not.
Yeah, no, but I probably in my mind, I would have thought like, oh, these are like some guys who are trying to rob him and they messed with the wrong guy who doesn't understand that he's got this ability now. But I was just saying that story wise, I was like, yeah, he really did kind of screw up their lives. And I can understand why they're upset, but I don't agree with their methods.
Yeah, I mean it's an odd thing because if anything, you have a situation where maybe they were being inappropriate to Carol, and he kind of gets them to back off.
Exactly,
and then they're waiting for him outside.
Exactly. Right? Yes.
I think okay. I want to say, by the way, Peter Sarsgaard as Hector Hammond. This guy is like clearly the victim in this, right? Like, wait, I felt. Yes. I mean, where he ends up is not good, but like he is not in any way like a heel in hiding.
So, okay, there's a moment where he's interacting with Carol at this event, and he sniffs her hair.
Yeah,
and I was like, what?
It's a little weird.
And I wondered if they added that. Because he's really basically just this guy who something accidentally happened to him and he falls apart.
Yeah.
He's taken over, and right. It's really tragic if you think about it. So then you might feel bad if Hal's just punching him in the face over and over. So I wondered if they're like, wait, we got to make this guy kind of creepy and weird. Have him sniff Blake Lively's hair in a scene randomly. Because to me, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was part of the thinking, like we've got to make you okay with him getting, beat up later.
But it's very weird, right? Because Hector Hammond in the comics is like the master planner,
Mm.
He's physically debilitated, but his cranium is so advanced that he's constantly scheming in the background. And I'm like, well, I don't think it's hard to just set up Hector as that guy beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That he's already, like it's weird because what the movie does is it shows his father, Tim Robbins, being kind of a douche and Hector being kind of put upon.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, why not make the senator like a decent guy? And he's got kind of a sniveling evil son. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the thinking was.
See, even back then they were doing like the shirtless superhero scene.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember that about Ryan Reynolds. This is kind of interesting, right? Because he, as far as I remember, I know he had some TV shows and things, but I remember him kind of being presented through Van Wilder. Right. And he had this almost like Jim Carrey kind of shtick, the way that he talked. Like his cadence was a little Jim Carrey light. And I don't know. It's like there was obviously something to him, but it was like Hollywood didn't know exactly where to put him. I mean, he had movies like Just Friends, which were really funny. And
right.
But then I remember he was in Amityville Horror, one of those remakes. And
wow, I forgot about that.
do you remember that? And I remember he was like really cut, because I remember like a lot of my friends, like just being like, oh damn, I didn't know like Ryan Reynolds was so hot and so cut. Like that's what I remember about that movie. And so it was like
how funny.
He was like this funny blend, right? Where he is.
So in Just Friends, he starts as like a tubby guy and he becomes like a hot guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he's all right. But I remember being like, oh yeah, he's like a guy who, he's got like a physique too, on top of being like a comedic person.
So it's like the Chris Pratt template.
Yeah.
Right.
See, can you imagine if we hadn't seen any of these creatures yet, and then this is the first person he meets?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it should have been like a POV thing where, they're like hovering over him and he wakes up,
He's like, what am I at Zubilee Zoo?
And I would have pointed at the screen like Leo DiCaprio. So, okay, 2 points. The mask is hilarious because Tomar Ray here explicitly says the mask will appear when you need to protect your identity. And before we even get to later, this is my issue with superhero masks like that, right? This is like the buy that somebody would show up wearing a mask like that, or like Robin's mask, the domino mask from the old series. And people wouldn't be like, hey, Hal Jordan in a mask.
Right.
Hey, Dick Grayson in a mask,
Right.
But that, I think more broadly, we can expand that out to if that's if that is what the movie is putting out, the movie itself undermines that conceit. Later when he meets Carol. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Sure.
Let's talk about these costumes.
Yes. Are they costumes or are they a visual effect?
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is wearing one of those mocap suits.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I guess initially the plan was to have just a regular suit with certain CGI highlights.
See, that makes sense to me. Something like a Tron suit.
Yeah. I think they decided at some point in the process it'll be easier just to make it all CG. And I will say this, you know what? I applaud the swing. I don't think the technology was there for it yet.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we get CGI suits now, right? Like Spider-Man in each of the MCU movies before this latest one, it was a CGI suit.
Which, by the way, I don't remember calling it out in the review, but I loved that it was a little gappy.
Yeah, it had folds.
Folds, and you could see his ears underneath the mask. I thought that was so cool. It made it feel like Spider-Man in the real world. Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, the movies before this, we weren't like complaining about how CGI the suit looks.
No, and honestly, I know it's an easy thing to pick on with a movie that there's a lot to feel like you want to pick on, but it doesn't, I don't really care, if I'm being honest.
For in this, you mean?
Yeah.
I think for me,
it doesn't look great. It hasn't held up, but I'm like, whatever.
Well, certainly there's a long list of issues. I think for me the problem is there's many a sequence, especially on Oa, where it just looks like Ryan Reynolds' head is floating on like a CGI body.
100%. Yeah.
Right. Like I think that's the problem, is that the the seams between the CG suit and the flesh and blood face are too obvious.
Yeah, they just weren't there yet.
They weren't there, right? And so that's one of those things where I'm like, might have been better to just
Plus
go with
something physical.
To in our movie film parlance, something tactile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I will say this whole sequence here, honestly, all these lanterns, in my opinion, you save it until the very, very end.
Okay. So have like his training and then, I don't know. What do you mean? And then like they show up maybe to assist at the end or something. It's like, oh, you've joined something even bigger than you have any idea about.
That's to me. And then credits,
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
I feel like the mistake, I'm not even gonna say mistake. I think an approach that would have worked better for me is you keep this film largely earthbound in terms of Hal having to figure stuff out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And we introduce maybe another lantern or whatever, but I don't think you even need like a training sequence. I think a lot of that stuff just diminishes the character. I think it's more effective if we're following Hal through each step of this. He figures out how to use the ring. He figures out its limitations rather than essentially having, a series of lessons.
Yeah, I can see that because then we're not pulled away from all of the story on Earth.
Yeah, because I think fundamentally this is all just a lot of gleep glop.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about it from the perspective of somebody coming in cold, right? Like, a comparison I would make is like The Last Starfighter.
Okay, yeah.
Right, which you and I just watched recently, I think, right? Or in the last...
I was going to say...
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it might be longer than we are remembering, but yes, relatively, yeah.
Relatively recent. It was pre-pandemic, for sure.
At some point, the Earth was created, and then somewhere in there, we watched Last Starfighter. So relatively speaking...
Closer to now than the creation of the Earth, you and I watched Last Starfighter.
Yeah,
that is true.
Exactly.
But if you remember, I mean, that starts with, we were introduced to the character, and then he wins the video game thing, and then he's taken into space, and then here's the wider world. But it's not focused on all of these other aliens. I mean, in that particular story, it's because they're all wiped out, and he's the only one left.
Mm-hmm.
So weirdly, The Last Starfighter is like the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern I was telling you about. I realize this as I'm talking to you. It's totally the same thing. You're the last one.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I actually think something in that vein would have been better in terms of guiding us through Hal's journey, right?
Well, and then you could get more bang for your buck out of Taika Waititi.
Exactly.
Being the buddy who has questions and, well, can you do this? I don't know. Let's try.
Yeah, he could have been the Ned.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, interesting seeing him so young and also...
American accent?
American accent, yeah. I mean, for someone who's known for his specific accent. I mean, that's what
it's a good accent he does.
I was going to say, it's much better than I would have ever imagined.
I remember when he was announced as the director of Thor Ragnarok. I had not seen Hunt for the Wilder People at that point. I was like, the guy from Green Lantern?
Wow, yeah.
Say like all this here, right? Like I know Tomar-Ray, I know Kilowog, I know all these characters, but I think that this whole sequence, to me, it doesn't really gel because we're not seeing Hal excel. We're seeing him because at the end of this sequence, Sinestro shows up and he's like, "You suck." He's like, "You're right, I do suck. I'm leaving." Right? Like,
yeah, and these characters don't really pay off. Why set them up if they're not going to pay off at the end?
Because to me, the what you should be showing through this training sequence is Abin Sur, his ring chose Hal, and now through this sequence, Hal is demonstrating ways that even other lanterns haven't thought about using the ring. And he's not very good at it, but it's just something sort of intrinsic in him,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we go through the whole movie, and then at the very end we have Jeffrey Rush narration, and then he would become the greatest of the lanterns. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the point of what they were trying to accomplish with the early, the thing with the dogfight with the drones is like Hal Jordan, man, he pulls victory from the jaws of defeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good concept. I don't think it was executed well, but let's extrapolate from that, and let's demonstrate that in, let's give Hal his version of the Kobayashi Maru.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just like Kirk, it's you can't solve this. Somehow he does,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because he's just
He thinks outside of the box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. See, because here's the problem with this scene with Sinestro, who, by the way, for the most part, Sinestro is like 100% good guy for the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the post-credit scene makes it like not even a little bit of sense.
Yeah. It's so funny, by the way, me not being as familiar with this, and I like Mark Strong, and he is sort of being helpful,
Yeah.
throughout this movie, and kind of like, maybe you're not so bad kind of thing. I was able to get past the fact that he looks like the devil. And when you were like, he becomes this big bad guy, I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's sort of like when we watch Doctor Strange, and at the end, Mordo is like, our paths have diverged. I'm going my own way, or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, well, Godspeed, friend. And then at the post credit, you're like, oh my God.
Right.
But like this here, he's like, you don't deserve that ring, and he's like, who do you think you are, and whatever. And it's like, it's not like Hal sought it out. I mean, it's in the ring. Like, that's the whole deal.
Yeah, right.
Is the ring finds somebody, and it's not like it did something different this time. Sinestro knows that. That's the lantern dies, the ring finds a new user.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what are you mad at him for, bro? Like,
right. And why not even have him say that? Like, it chose you for some reason, but I don't see it. And
exactly.
So he's pushing him, and let's see if we can get it out of you.
Well, I mean, this bit here, right? Abin Sur was a great warrior. You reek of fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. I think that it's really weird, because like when Hal should be cocky, he's not, and when he is cocky, he shouldn't be. Right.
Yeah.
I also think Oa just kind of sucks, like in terms of how it's visualized. It's just so blah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking that when I was watching the movie. I think a go-to complaint about a lot of these movies is bad visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think visual effects have improved a ton.
Yeah.
And there's less reason to complain about them unless they're used badly and then they stand out. But watching this, I was like, oh, this is what I think people are thinking of when they think of just sort of distracting, non-immersive overuse of visual effects. Like you were saying, just blah. It doesn't feel like he's anywhere. Like,
that's what I'm saying, right? Look, the training sequence that we just saw, dude, just like put him in a desert,
Mm-hmm.
Put him on an island. I don't care.
Yeah, a real one. Yeah.
An actual place.
Yeah. So it feels like he's somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us dust. Give us water. I don't care.
Yeah, it looks like he's in a virtual reality simulation or something versus an actual place.
And to the point you're making, I mean, that's very much the critique that people have about Marvel movies these days, where they're just shooting them against a green screen and compositing them wherever, and it shows.
By the way, it is interesting though, all the physical spaces they're in, the way that this movie is color timed, very saturated. I guess I kind of like it.
Gives it an interesting look for sure.
It's distinctive.
Yeah.
It's not over stylized, but it does have color to it. I think it's nice.
I think that just to circle back to the Martin Campbell discussion we were having before, I mean, he knows his way around a shot. He's obviously very skilled at making staging compelling action, and obviously Warner Brothers brought him in off the success of Casino Royale, right? which you and I both agree, one of the best action films of the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so weird to me that the folks at the executive level couldn't get their fingers out of the pie.
Yeah.
Right? Like why don't you let the guy you hired do the job you hired him to do?
I mean, that's just like a common refrain, isn't it? And it I wonder, going back to what you said at the very beginning of this is a real moment for comic book movies.
Right.
And I wonder if there was just so much overthinking, like, well, what are they doing? And maybe we should try this. And if we need to set up that, and it's like, no, just tell a good Green Lantern story with this talented filmmaker you got and let him cook, But
right.
I'm sure there was just so many emails. I'm sure there were a million emails.
I'm sure. The fact that, and Campbell said his one and only choice was Bradley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even offer it to Bradley Cooper.
That's post Hangover, right? So, I mean, he
was a name.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that. I mean, he played some role in Daniel Craig being chosen as Bond.
Wait, what's that?
Well, I mean, Martin Campbell, I mean.
Oh, sorry. I thought Bradley Cooper.
No,
I was like, were
Campbell.
They roommates at some point?
He sorry. He was, because he had been hired for Casino Royale, I believe, before Craig got the gig. So he was part of that casting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, trust this guy's instincts.
Yeah.
So I think, and what I read, by the way, was that like Chris Pine was in the mix, which like 100% I can see that.
I can see that, yeah.
He would have been great. Jared Leto, of course, as was the style of the time. And then Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. But by the way, I realize this is not a visual medium, a podcast, and you can't see me shaking my head over here. I was reacting to the things you were saying, but they were nonverbal. Yeah, the Justin Timberlake thing feels very of that moment too. I mean, this is where he was being put in movies like In Time.
That's right.
And all
In
that
Time. That's right. Yeah.
Right. And was The Social Network the year before this?
Social Network. That was 2009, I think, or 2010, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the one of those movies, Friends with Benefits or No Strings Attached, whichever one.
One of those.
Yeah. So yeah, that tracks. That I could see a studio thinking about that. I'm not saying it'd be a good idea.
I love how we have the 2 Robin Hood movies, we have the 2 Asteroid movies, and the 2 Sleeping with Your Friends with No Relationship Commitment movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hollywood development really does rhyme.
Yeah.
But so Reynolds gets hired without. I don't know how. Like, they don't consult with him. They don't tell him. They're basically, he's Green Lantern. Figure it out.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And so basically that ensures that Martin Campbell is pissed off every time he looks at Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And they've both spoken about this. I mean, this isn't like some sort of rumor,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds has said that he had a bad relationship with Martin Campbell. Martin Campbell said that it was contentious. So that's part of the story, the official story.
See, I you know what I keep coming back to is I honestly think Reynolds just needed to ferment a little bit, because when you look at him in like damn it, what was that Netflix movie a couple of years ago? You're talking about
the something project, Adam Project.
Yeah, right. Like he's got some years under his belt.
He's one of those guys that is actually, he's aging like a fine wine in a way.
Yeah. Because like I could see that Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't disagree. But Reynolds has said that he is glad that this movie failed because he was dreading having to do this again, have this experience again.
Although one presumes had it succeeded, they would have kicked Campbell to the curb.
Probably. Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, if he didn't get along with the star and they went
and the studio
and edited. Yeah, exactly. They made their own movie anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the parallax in the comic books, they actually used the notion of parallax. In the movie, it's pretty different, but the idea that it's the embodiment of fear, that was how they retconned Hal Jordan out of being a bad guy.
Like he was taken over.
He had, exactly, in that moment he experienced despair because his city was destroyed, and that was like the moment when this viral creature Parallax was able to take him over.
So, like, as he was standing amongst the thousands of corpses of the Green Lantern Corps, and he's just like, I feel much better now. Was everyone like, oh, okay, we understand?
No, well, I mean, it took him 10 years to basically circle back around to the idea that, okay, this is what actually happened to Hal Jordan, and now at this moment of need, like something happens, he's brought back to life. He still has to make amends for the horror that happened at his hands, but it wasn't something he was responsible for.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know? I'll
buy that.
Hey, why not? As far as comic book gobbledygook works.
And it's like I was hearing about the new season of Ted Lasso. You know, they ended season 3 with this whole, this character must leave England and go back to Kansas. That's what's right for this character. But then they made a new season. They got to get him back to England. So they spent an entire episode being like, well, here's why he has to go back to England. You know, and it's like, you got to do the work. And at the end of the day, though, you just want him back in England. So you're like, okay, copy that.
Last retcon standing. That's how it works.
Yeah, let's go. We're fine. Thank you for the effort. But this is where we want him to be.
Right here. Why not make the senator a good guy and the son is jealous of him or whatever?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. By the way, Tim Robbins, like Mark Strong, you know, he just shows up, makes it look effortless. He's an interesting presence on screen.
Senator Andy Dufresne took $50 million of bribes. $50 million that paid for yachts and mansions and whatnot.
That's hilarious. That would be hilarious if some movie with Tim Robbins just had random Morgan Freeman narration drop over every time he appears. Late for his job again, you know? Will he ever learn? Let's find out. Oh man, I would respect that so much. Even if it was like a drama and it made no sense. I would have so much respect for the studio, the filmmakers, Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins.
Now, while we're here, so Peter Sarsgaard is supposed to be a contemporary of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in this movie, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, he looks like he's got about 15 years on them.
That's true, especially Blake Lively, yeah. I like that weird, quirky little move, by the way, he just did, where he doesn't even pick up his glass. He just leans over to sip out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you hire someone like Peter Sarsgaard.
Peter Sarsgaard's, I'm bored. I'm gonna make the most of this.
Oh, this guy's a little off. Let's do something interesting.
I like J.O. Saunders, by the way. I just want to say he's one of those great "Hey that" guys.
I had very much like, oh, that guy. I can't place him, but I know him.
He's in JFK. Remember, he's you've seen JFK. Right?
I have, but it's been, that's one of those movies that I think someday when I have the time, I really
watch all 18 hours of Oliver Stone's director's cut of JFK.
I mean, you're not kidding. Like 4 hours maybe, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. The one and only time I've watched it, and it is something I'd like to watch again.
He's like Costner's right hand in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that, where the closing statements or whatever Costner does in the courtroom, I mean, it's just dialogue, but the score and the intensity that he's delivering it feels like a thriller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very good. But yeah, no, I agree. There's just competing feelings about this character. I feel bad for him one minute, then he's weird another minute. I just, yeah.
Like they give him like a weird porno stash and that the balding mullet thing and You're meant to be like, he's weird.
Right. Which, by the way, I mean, we'll get to it, I guess. But when his head changes shapes, it looks really good.
It's a good old practical effects.
Yeah. This is a good little set piece. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to be at a place where a helicopter is hovering 10 feet over my head.
Yeah, that close seems excessive.
Yeah, but
it is weird to me though that we're more than an hour into this and we still don't really have a shape to what the quest is of this movie.
You know what's so funny? I reread the plot on Wikipedia this morning because I was like, "What? Wait, what is the plot?" Like, it sort of just feels like Hal becomes Green Lantern. This guy kind of goes bad, and then they meet at the end, and then it's over. Like, I was like, did I miss something? I have to admit, I did break it up over 2 nights, not because I wanted to. I was just tired. So I did think, like, was I missing a component of this story? But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's not,
because I think here. By this point, Hector should be well into his supervillain era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because it feels like here he's like, I'm just going to do this because I'm mad kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you could have the moment where he's mad at the student where he can read his mind, have that be the first thing that happens after he's bit. And he's even surprised by it. Like, why did I do that? Why can't I hear his thoughts? Right? Like, that should be happening like at minute 38 or something.
This scene, it's like in the first Spider-Man, you know, this should be where Hector's like, out, am I? You know, because he's like, right.
Totally.
And then this should be Green Lantern's big coming out party.
Yeah. Agreed.
So the Hot Wheels track here, I'm glad that the movie seeded that earlier in the movie.
They did, yes.
In case you're wondering, how did he think of that? It's because he saw one.
Well, and, you know, much like, you know, we had Masters of the Universe come out this year, and that's something that's been in development forever. I'm sure in 2011, Hot Wheels was in development. And as of 2026, Hot Wheels is still in development.
Yeah, we got a Matchbox movie coming before a Hot Wheels movie.
Yeah, but I feel like, right? Wasn't it J.J. Abrams at one point was involved with a Hot Wheels movie? Or
I feel like if you were to list like every, you know, a moderately known director of the mid to late 2000s, they were probably attached to Hot Wheels at some point.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I were to say McG, Michael Bay, J.J. Abrams, and, you know, I don't know.
I would put money on that. All those names like, you just said, yeah.
That feels reasonably believable, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, see, but I don't know what you do with that. What do you do with the track, the things that we want to see? I don't know.
Yeah,
Actually, I would love to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? Meets Toy Story. Like someone gets shrunk and then it realizes there's like a whole world operating with the toys and they got to use.
But that's Matchbox, right? Like that's, I mean, I don't know if that's what the movie is about, but like they're called Matchbox cars because they fit in a matchbox, right? So like,
oh right, yeah.
That's that movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what they did.
See, okay. So when we look at the Hector arc, if you ask me, what if we want to see him mutating, I think that we should have been at a point where he's like smart. He's like smart. The alien virus has made him smarter and more confident. So that's like he's at his peak. And he's like, I got it pretty good. That should have been what we see at the event that we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
And then but it's like the mutation is like progressing past that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. All the stuff that's happening makes sense. It just, it's not laid out in a way that feels satisfying.
It feels like it's the sequence is wrong.
Well, and if this was recut behind Campbell's back, then you've got to wonder, what was it originally? What was their thinking? What did they feel like needed to be put here instead of there? And I'd be kind of curious to read the transcripts of those meetings.
Yeah. See, so this right here, this is perfectly what I'm talking about. You get rid of the training sequence, and you make this your training sequence.
Where it's like, dude, I don't even know what this is, but look what I can do. Poof.
Yeah. And Tom is helping him figure it out.
Yes.
And so he's a de facto guy in chair.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have someone fun for him to bounce off of. And it's kind of cool to see Hal working at this on his own and curious about it and interested. And yeah, I agree.
Right, because at the end, you got Kilowog, the Michael Clark Duncan character, who's like, can I train him or can I? I'm like, you didn't do shit. Right. You did nothing, Pigman.
That's hilarious. R.I.P., by the way, Michael Clark Duncan.
I know.
Passed away 2012. Like, not long
right. I was going to say, not too long after this movie came out. Yeah.
Yeah. I was behind him in line at a grocery store once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely fella?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really interact with him, but it was very cool to see him. I mean, he had that sort of gentle giant aura, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he started out as like a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And then I think his first movie was Armageddon, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. What a showcase.
Right? Yeah. And then he does 1 year later, Green Mile.
Oh, yeah, nominated for an Oscar.
It's pretty good.
Amazing. See, now this should be like that scene from Superman, right?
Yes.
Like showing up to the window, talking to Lois, but I just feel absolutely nothing here.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem is because, again, despite the fact that they did in fact end up getting married, and you look at the shot of Blake Lively, you can absolutely see why they ended up getting married.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous. They have no on-screen chemistry in this movie.
Yeah, they're both beautiful, but I see no chemistry here between them.
See, now my thought about The Mask, again, the movie has explicitly said it will appear when you need to hide your identity. And it takes her all of 3 seconds to be like, to what we all would do, which is, hey, Hal, why are you wearing that, right?
Which I don't know if this is true or not. I saw somewhere that was like an improvisation from her.
And they just left it in?
Yeah, or like, yeah, that's funny. That makes sense. So I don't know if that's why that doesn't. I don't
know if that is, because this is all, all of this is improv, right?
Well, I'm just saying what I heard.
You know, we see that a lot on the internet where they'll be like, oh, this, when on Friends, when they were when they were moving the sofa, the way Ross says pivot, he improv that. It's like, no, he didn't.
No, that's like a 10-minute sequence.
Right?
Like, yeah, exactly.
It's like Matthew Perry was just, speaking. He was actually mad when he said, shut up. And they left it in. It's like, no.
Right. Or like when Darth Vader says, I'm your father, all the filmmakers were like, wow, that was improvised, but that's interesting. What if we ran with that?
You see so much of that.
Dude, it's so true. Wait, by the way, real quick, there's this video that's kind of riffing on that idea that I saw that is so funny. Have you ever seen these things where a lawyer will watch a clip from a movie and tell you like, oh, well, that's illegal. You can't do that. And it's just such a, sometimes it's kind of obvious, or it's just sort of a funny thing for a lawyer to do to sort of give themselves an internet presence. Well, I saw a parody of that where it's these two lawyers watching John Wick on a laptop. Okay. And it's just John Wick shooting people. And they're like, well, that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't do that. And then he like basically walks in a club. Is like, no, you can walk in, of course, if you have an invitation. And then he starts stabbing. Oh, but you can't do that. That is very illegal. What he's doing here, just to be clear, is illegal. Like and their acting is so funny, and it's such a perfect parody of those videos. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure our algorithm is filled with stuff like that.
I see a lot of those. But anyway, all of that, I understand having Carol know, right? That's totally, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, there were ways of working around that. Like to me, my fundamental issue is, why would you have the movie explicitly say, oh, the mask is there to protect your identity?
Mm.
And then have a person be like, hey, it's you, right? Because like if you want to just say space magic, you can be like, the mask does something where it blurs your face.
Sure.
Something,
And that might mean more and make me believe their relationship more if, despite that, she knows him so well. She knows his heart or something.
Right.
that even that doesn't work on her. And then you see the mask sort of disappear.
Yeah, exactly. Or, they kiss and it's a tender moment and Hal loses himself and the mask just disappears. And she's like, Hal, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more like the mask is a buy that you have to make anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we've talked about this before when we've talked about Superman, where it's like anyone would very obviously know that Superman and Clark Kent are the same guy.
Right.
So that's just sort of like a bridge you have to cross. And the movies, sometimes you do it like the old Christopher Reeve movie where he's just so good at creating this performance.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just do the James Gunn thing where it's like, oh, it's hypno glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever. Right? It's ultimately whatever. It's just something to get us from point A to across the bridge to point B.
That would be a funny joke eventually, to see what other people are seeing from his hypno glasses.
I think so. Yeah.
Like...
So they did that because that is taken from the comics.
Uh-huh.
And that you see, and that was like one story 30 years ago, 40 years ago, which was never referred to again. So James Gunn really did some archaeology there.
Wow.
But people see kind of a older, balding, middle-aged guy.
Oh, interesting. You see, it's funny because in my mind, I was like, oh, yeah, you get like someone handsome like Bradley Cooper. And it's like, oh, that's a funny joke that's what he's making everyone think he looks like. But yours makes a lot more sense.
A lot more sense, yeah. But I mean, DC, that was like one thing they never referred to it again because I thought it was dumb. And James Gunn was like, I will polish that turd.
I think it makes sense.
So Angela Bassett is playing Amanda Waller, who Viola Davis plays in the current DC universe. Yeah.
I talk about this sometimes. When these movies come out, I don't have the knowledge, to get excited about these quote unquote cameos or something with these characters. You have to tell me about them. But then years later, after I do learn all this stuff and I go back and watch these, I'm like, oh, what a treat. I know that character. I have it years later.
Pretty clearly they were setting her up to be sort of the Nick Fury,
Sure. Yeah.
Obviously that didn't work out. I do like though that the bit that we just saw where he kind of like reads her mind. I mean, that's pretty much right. That's an accurate depiction of her backstory from the comics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's a scary ability for someone where they can get into your mind. And I mean, we sort of saw that in Spider-Man recently, but
yeah,
they just, it's a weird form of control.
Right. Yeah.
And then they can learn everything. Like you can't hide anything from them. They know your weaknesses. They know your fears. Like I like that.
Well, I think that's what makes that moment in Spider-Man Brand New Day when he thinks that MJ has broken through the spell.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so heartbreaking. I mean, you see it. You go through a whole gamut of emotions with Peter,
Yeah, I mean, those movies are so good at having these moments that I'm never going to forget. Like Michael Keaton, the reveal in the car or at the house or whatever in the first one, and that moment in Brand New Day. Yeah, man. That that head prosthetic is very upsetting.
See, again, I kind of like the idea of starting out with a Hector who's not like a friggin' sociopath or like a weird incel.
Mm-hmm.
Have him be like a normal guy who's evil, and he's exposed to this alien thing, and it gives him what he wants because it gets to be more evil, but it keeps mutating him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want that.
Yeah. Well, does that feel in line with the character in the comics at all, or?
What I'm describing is a little more, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that, like, a couple of points, right? It's one thing if Hector has a relationship with Hal and Carol and they're friends. Then you go on this journey.
Yep.
But they don't even do that. They're like, oh, he's that weirdo from grade school, and now he's a homicidal weirdo from grade school.
Yeah.
Right? I like if you're gonna start out by making him sort of pitiable, not pitiful necessarily, then have us like him.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hal and Carol like him.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right? And I think, again, this would mean so much more with the Tim Robbins character if he's actually like a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty horrifying how he goes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we felt worse about it. Well, not worse. I'm saying this wrong. But I like that where he catches her with the water.
That's good. I like
Very clever.
I do like it. But it's just CGI gleep glop, man.
I know. Like this sort of thing where
that's pretty cool where he burns the
glass.
See, here's my thought, right? Like what's established in the lore and what the movie says is that the only limitation of the ring is will. But I think the problem is that that's not enough of a limitation for the audience to get its arms around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There needs to be something. It's like Iron Man's suit, right? Like it's like a Swiss Army suit.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be something in there. There has to be, power is running out there.
Right.
So even with Hal, like the ring has a limited charge, but we're not made aware of the extent of that charge.
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's like, yeah, it can do whatever you want, but the bigger the thing, the more of that power you use up.
See, I like that. Yeah. So he could make his hand into giant anvils and punch people or create like the Great Wall of China to stop like missiles from hitting something. But yeah, at the end, when he's exhausted he has to be a little more creative and think smaller, but with his imagination.
Right.
That would be, I'd love that. And yeah, I could wrap my head around that. And appreciate his ingenuity. That's why the ring would pick him.
Yeah, I think that, originally in the comics, it was like he has to charge the ring once every 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And I think eventually they changed that. It might have been during the Kyle Rayner era, where it was like, no, you have a finite charge. If you use it up, you use it up.
Mm.
Right?
Oh,
Spider-Man runs out of web fluid. Green Lantern's ring runs out of a charge. There's a weakness you can bake into the story without being like, oh, he doesn't have the willpower to make this thing.
Right? Yeah. How do I know? He would have to tell us, which is not as interesting.
Right. I don't have the will to make this.
Oh no! Yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh boy. I gotta say,
Andy Dufresne was flash fried at 500 degrees,
like an overcooked hot dog on a grill on the 4th of July. But I admire Robbins for totally going for it. It's like, hey, you're on these wires. Your son's about to barbecue you. And he's like, okay, action. He's going for it. Why not?
And I I appreciate the desire to stack the movie with a pretty impressive cast of familiar faces and talented character actors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, they didn't cheap out as far as ambition,
Right.
It's very much that Batman Begins idea of like, let's put familiar faces in this who add credibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
So you got your Tim Robbins, your J.O. Saunders, and Mark Strong, as you mentioned, Jeffrey Rush, who, my man, he probably showed up, just did his lines recorded his lines in an hour and a half.
I got to say, I mean, he did a good job, but I was reading something that he had said where he's like, well, I was debating whether or not I wanted to do this. And I was like, oh, you were in this? You know what I mean? Like where it was like this big decision for him to be in there, but I didn't even know that was him, if I'm being honest.
I hope that the addition he put on his house was worth it.
Absolutely. How could it not have been? He just had to go into a recording booth.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably in an afternoon, and then they gave him a sack of money with a dollar sign on it.
Yeah. And Tamira Morrison.
Yep.
Also unrecognizable, but glad he's here.
Yeah, I mean, he just has a certain gravitas that he brings, you know?
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, instead of him being hoisted off to OA or whatever, why not have it be he triggers like a recorded message inside the ring, and it's by Ab and Sur to whoever gets the ring.
Yeah.
Like a hologram or something.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And so, in other words, that gives you just enough context to get you to the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my point, I mean, if I'm doing like a ground up rework, I just take Oa out of it completely. I just say, save that for the end. For this one, let's focus on Hal discovering how to use the ring. And the world expands for us at the same rate that it expands for Hal.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, especially when everything is just so fantastical. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot,
Yeah.
Like this gets to, you and I, we talked before about whether episode 4 or episode 1 is a better on-ramp into Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm adamant, and I'm sure you are too, that no, A New Hope is.
Yeah, I still feel that way, yeah.
Right. And I know prequel kids probably have a different view of it, but for me, it's like, it's because of that. It's because we're slowly being walked through, we're taking our steps into that broader universe. I just think that works better because there's so much, and going back to what we said earlier, it's not like Oa is particularly visually appealing. There's also that.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of looks like a screensaver.
Really
just them standing in front of a screensaver.
Early 2000s Windows screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, by the way, this is a note I had.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I will say this scene, I do like this. I like where Hal shows up and he makes this case to the Guardians. I think it's a good scene. I think he does a good job with it.
I do too. And that's why I thought it would be kind of nice if maybe, for a little while he thought he had to do this on his own, makes his plea, kind of humbles himself or something. And it would have been kind of cool if the people that had dismissed him before were like, you suck at training, maybe had shown up at the end to give him a hand. And it's like, no, you're part of a bigger, fraternity of people now. And we show up for each other. And that might have felt emotional. I don't know.
You could have Sinestro be like, you think you're the only superhero in the universe?
Right. Maybe not, though. I don't know. It is nice him having to solve it on his own with his ingenuity, I guess.
I think the problem to me is that we know basically nothing about the Guardians. Yeah.
Do they even like each other? Do they assist one another?
Why are they doing what they do? Right? Why do the Green Lanterns exist?
Yeah.
Like, I think all of that stuff should be held. Just keep it in your back pocket and get to it later, because it's not necessary for this story.
Mm-hmm. By the way, just thinking of this sort of flat, uninteresting background, I saw on Instagram this thing. It was a matte painting for Gotham City from Batman 89.
Oh, okay.
And it was a behind the scenes picture of them filming it. So you saw this gorgeous matte painting, but they actually had physically these little models of bridges and sorts of things to build it out and make it 3-dimensional. And I was like, that's why it's amazing.
Huh,
you know what I mean? Not just slapping something in the background, but like putting something in the background, then adding a little extra something so your eye feels like that is actually reaching out and exists and is dimensional, the bridge, and like, oh, just the thought. And that's why it still looks amazing all these years later.
Huh. So, that's incredible.
Right? I kind of wish they would do that a little bit more now, where it's instead of just having like a rock next to their foot and then just a background they slap in, build the bridge, build the river or something. But then, if you want to fill in the background, go for it. But maybe.
Well, it's kind of like the Khazad Doom sequence in Fellowship of the Ring, right? It's the whole when the bridge is collapsing. It's just before the Balrog.
Right. Oh, it's yes.
You've got CGI, you've got models, you've got you put all those pieces together, and it just fools the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And even what doesn't look 100% real, you go with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, like this sequence here, wouldn't it mean more if he's pleading with his friend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and James Franco.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I was just thinking also with the suit, because here I didn't even notice till this moment that his emblem or shield or whatever on the breast, like it's like looks like active liquid or something kind of. And I was like, man, just all these shots they had to pay for and work on. When it's like, did you really need that?
You didn't need to. I think that's the problem, right? Like, you just put him in a black and green leotard and use CG to kind of smooth it out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is minor, but yeah, I just thought.
But I don't think it's minor, right? Because I think what you described, the problem, the fact that you're sitting there looking at all the stuff going on with the suit, I think that's a mistake.
That's a good point,
right? You shouldn't be focusing on that.
That's true. Oh man, now you have that in my head. Like if these are like, oh, we were friends. This isn't you. That would just add so much more to
it. It's giving you something to play, you know?
Yeah. And something that I would feel and that I would remember when the movie's over, and it's just lacking that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you can tie it in with what happens with Hal's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Hector can be using that to torment Hal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we don't really meaningfully come back to that and sort of come full circle on how that changed him, or what he could learn from what happened to his dad.
Right. That's a good point. It's not something, I mean, you think of Top Gun, Goose's death haunts him and he has to overcome that. And
right.
Hot Shots. have to overcome that incident.
I guess Hot Shots kind of ruined the trope forever, right?
Maybe. But I'm with you. I mean, why not have that amount to something here for his character growth?
That's like, again, there's like two ways to approach Hector, right? You have him be evil and he's mutated into something he didn't want to be, or he's a good guy who mutated into something he didn't want to be. Either way, that gives you somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they landed on the worst of both worlds, is that he's just a weird guy nobody likes, who didn't ask for any of this, but now is just a huge big-headed asshole.
Right. Yeah. Wait, something I remember was bumping me about this, where he couldn't use the ring, but it's like he just did. He just blew the hole in the wall.
So by implication, Hal was letting him. Hal was always controlling.
He's controlling it.
Yeah,
got it. He's like the Frank Grimes of this story. And then he's like put into the ground at the end, and everyone's just like, "Oh, anyway, you want to order a pizza?" So sad. His dad never respected him. They didn't respect him.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I like the dramatic impetus of separating Hal from his ring and having to set up a situation where he has to solve a big chunk of this without the ring.
Right.
I kind of wish we would have done more with that.
Yeah.
I think the problem fundamentally is Hector isn't really the big bad, and the actual big bad is just not really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm just collecting my thoughts. But yeah, he's not like a Thanos or something.
Exactly.
Who's using someone as a puppet.
Or even, he's not even like Scarecrow setting the stage for Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
he's just kind of a blobby entity that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be Thanos. It could be Ra's al Ghul, and that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I think not a human, but like a person is always going to be more interesting than a whatever this is,
Yeah. I mean, what is this character, creature, or whatever from the comics?
Yeah, so like I said, the way it was depicted in the books was kind of this giant insect. But in this movie changes it that he's a guardian who delved too far into things man is not meant to know or whatever and became corrupted.
Okay.
But he is the personification of fear. Okay, that's interesting. My only point is like just make it a dude and just say I'm Parallax. I've taken this form, whatever the hell,
That's the thing. Maybe he can move around like a cloud, but then he turns into some sort of human form when you confront him.
I think think about it. The both this and Batman Begins end at the same note, which is the city being overcome with fear.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you do something similar, right? He's again, it doesn't have to be a person, but a humanoid who's spreading fear, and he goes, and people are just overcome by fear. And that Hal has to, that's his journey, right? Because he's been told you're without fear, and yet he's feeling fear. How does he get past that? But he has to do that as a man, and then the end is him reclaiming the ring.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of cool if we saw, Parallax in human form by an actor walking down the street.
Exactly.
And everyone around
You're
him.
describing exactly what I was seeing in my head.
Yeah. This is such a weird reference, but it makes me think of that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, End of Days, where Gabriel Byrne is playing the devil. And he's just like walking down the street in New York and just kind of looking around and making people fall off their bikes and, like having effect on the people around him. That would just feel so haunting.
I mean, it's more interesting than this visually.
Agreed. This is what maybe already at this point was a common complaint of just CGI gobbledygook third act.
Well, and I'm just like, what are the it like absorbs people's like fear skeletons?
Yeah, right. I did feel bad for these people. There's a lot of people dying here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think if Green Lanterns are about overcoming fear, right? And Carol says that, right? It didn't say you're fearless. It says you're able to overcome fear. Okay, well, that's interesting. That's your thesis. How do we prove that? And I don't think all of these constructs and things help us prove that, right? So what's the internal struggle that the movie uses as a way to show him earning the ring?
Totally.
Right? Like with Tony Stark, it's very clear, right? He starts one way, and then by the end, he's willing to sacrifice his own life. I don't mean in Endgame. I mean in the first Iron Man, to defeat the villain, right? So he goes from selfishness to selflessness. Well, this movie is trying to do that. It's doing a Mad Libs Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But like this here, what we're seeing, he as Ryan Reynolds, God bless him, he's stressing and straining as he recites the oath. This is not the applause moment I think they thought it was.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It would have been nice if this was the growth moment we've been hoping for the whole time.
Yeah, and I don't know how you do that. I feel like that's where you circle back to his dad.
Yeah.
Something his dad said to him.
Right. That he had just not processed or had been keeping at a distance or something, but he finally lets it in and learns from it and applies it.
Right.
Totally. It's interesting, going back just a couple minutes when he was on the rooftop with Blake Lively, I'm just so used to a tone from Ryan Reynolds that it was almost jarring seeing him be completely sincere.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of interesting. Like, that's just what we know of him from everything. I mean, obviously Deadpool, but Free Guy, all sorts of other things. He's always doing some sort of quip. And so it's interesting. It almost feels like someone, I can picture him maybe having an idea and Martin Campbell being like, no. And you can see in that scene him a little like, okay, action. Well, I gotta go. Sort of beaten down a little bit and doing something that doesn't feel natural for him.
It's funny that you say that because that's one thing that I read is that you had a situation where constantly Campbell had him doing take after take after take, trying to get whatever performance he was seeing in his head.
He's like, more Cooper. And then, yeah, he did another take. Just
the guy who played Face in the A-Team would have done better.
Right. And then he's like hit behind a monitor, even, like any notes? Cooper. The guy who played the crazy brother in Wedding Crashers? Cooper. Wet Hot American Summer? Cooper.
I mean, clearly, yeah, we know that Reynolds is able to build rapport with certain directors.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Obviously, him and Sean Levy have a good thing going.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you do wish it's like, man, just Campbell, Reynolds, just sit down, have some coffee, talk it through. I mean, I feel bad for Ryan Reynolds. I genuinely do. I feel bad for both of them.
Yeah.
But like, I know Ryan Reynolds is capable of doing something, and I feel like he got let down by his director in this instance.
Yeah, and I feel like for almost every movie, it is all about the casting. And I know this isn't what Campbell wanted, but like if you've got a guy who gives us a unique thing, let the guy, guy or gal, but like shine with their thing. They're here.
Right.
So I don't know. Not that he needs to run away with the movie and be like this crazy Bugs Bunny character like he tends to do, but like, bring it, let him be part of his personality. But he just feels so beaten down to me in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it just their relationship got off on the wrong foot. But what you'd hope is that they develop the character together. They find a mutually agreeable lane, and they do their thing. Mm-hmm.
By the way, so now, after, go.
Well, I wanted to mention before the movie ends. I mean, you said that you read it, or you read what was in the extended version. I was wondering if you could get into that a little.
Let me. I'd have to pull it up here, but I will do that. I was just thinking though, after this whole crazy thing, all these people died in his city, and he had to like use the gravitational pull of the sun and all this stuff to defeat the villain. And then these other lanterns show up, like, "Hey, what did we miss?"
Yeah,
so I'd be like, "Hey, good timing, guys."
Yeah, see, I think that what you do is you have Hal go through this experience virtually alone, having to figure it out, not because the lanterns are ignoring him or whatever, but they're like, we only just became aware that Abin Sur is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you end it with him being brought back to Oa, and he's introduced to this is what you're now a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think one scene of this I would be fine with.
Totally.
And actually, I was thinking about, as we're watching this, I'm like, you know what you do? You end with him flying. He takes his nephew and flies with him or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
That's your ending.
Yeah.
So
the extended cut has a 1993 prologue.
Okay.
Dealing more with Martin Jordan's fatal crash and Hal and Carol as kids, which, man, I feel like would have helped a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because the only moments we get with them, really, like in that bar, he just kind of runs away from his problems. So I don't really know what she sees in him. Seeing more of their established history would have helped me a lot. And I guess there's a scene with Hal and Jason. They talk longer about the perfect game and asking the boy to remember the feeling of that day.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I guess, like we mentioned, Ryan Reynolds has dogged on this movie a lot, even in the Deadpool movies, but he did in 2021 rewatch it and tweeted that it wasn't as bad as he remembered.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. His tweet, I actually have it here. It says, of course, he's got to throw in, maybe it's the aviation gin talking, but hashtag Green Lantern was nothing to fear. Hundreds of incredible crew and cast members did amazing work. And while it's not perfect, it ain't a tragedy. Next time, I won't wait a decade to watch it.
I mean, look, at the end of it, his career was just fine, and he got a family out of it. So
that's true.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah. And I guess another quote I had here was from Martin Campbell. He did an interview and he acknowledged that superhero movies were never really his cup of tea. Like he grew up watching James Bond. He knows James Bond and what that movie should be. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I didn't have the history with this genre.
See, I'm just thinking as I'm talking to you. First of all, I agree with what Campbell said there. But we see, CGI Hal Jordan flying as Tomar Ray's narration is like, we thought his humanity would be his greatest weakness, but it was his greatest strength or whatever. I'm like, if we hear that over Hal flying in a plane with his nephew, I think it hits a little harder. That's me.
I agree. Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts all these years later? When was the last time you watched this?
In the last few years, my son was watching it. And so I ended up, I don't remember if I watched the whole thing or I was dipping in and out, but in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Before that was in the theater, 2011. So, I don't hate it.
Yeah. I don't think it's offensive.
No,
I just think it's lackluster.
It's extremely lackluster. And you see, missed opportunities throughout. And that can be a little frustrating.
Like if someone was looking for something to watch and I was trying to recommend a superhero movie to them, I wouldn't recommend this because I don't think there's much to get out of it. I don't think there's much story. I don't think there's much character or heart, or even set pieces to get out of it. But I think if you're familiar with the characters, there's probably some fun in recognizing things that that you have never seen on the big screen before.
See, one thing I think about, and of my affinity for The Phantom.
Yeah, right.
That's a movie I like quite a bit, and I know, and obviously you and I have talked about The Rocketeer quite a bit, and those are films that were formative to some extent.
Definitely.
And people have grown up and had a great deal of like just long-term nostalgia for them. I don't know if this movie is that. I've not encountered anyone who's like, oh, that was like a wet cement movie for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. But there's just not much to grab onto.
That's the thing. See, this scene right here, I don't understand what. We see Sinestro put on the yellow ring. He's like, hey, this is pretty good, actually.
It's funny because Hal was trying to talk him out of it earlier, right?
Yeah. So
it'd be kind of fun if we saw him wandering on the outskirts of Oa or something. He's just like, tell me what to do, not put the ring on.
Right.
I made the damn thing,
It's weird because you say, okay, well, maybe the plan would have been to like just show that as here's what's going to happen, and then the next movie gives us the lead up to that. To Sinestro putting on the ring, right?
Right.
But since that never happened, all we have is just this weird piece of out of context sequel bait, which does nothing.
It would be funny if it pushed in on his face. He's like, "That's right, I'm bad now." Dun, 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 dun. And then the credits roll. Okay.
I think what we have right now are two extremes of how to depict the Green Lantern mythology. Right, we've got this film, and then we've got the HBO series, which I've seen at this point. You have not, and I'll withhold comment on the series, but I think just broadly it is a challenging mythology to depict, right? And I think that I talked during this track about Batman Begins and about Iron Man, and the thing about those movies is whether there's a trilogy or not, Batman Begins works as its own thing.
Yeah.
Whether there's an MCU or not, Iron Man 1 works as its own thing. This really doesn't.
Right.
Because I don't think it doesn't do the job of building out the characters, and if you don't have strong characters, then all the flim flam doesn't really matter. But man, this arrived at that moment where they were just trying everything, right? I mean, it was, I mean, they gesture towards a shared universe, but it's really, it's not, it's before DC really fully got in the universe business.
Yeah. And wasn't there an attempt to use this as like they were going to put Clark Kent in here in some draft to try to make it feel more interconnected?
Yeah, that's right. Like the ring would have gone to him first or something to that effect.
Who would that have been at this point? Would that have been Brandon Routh?
I mean, or a whole new guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because 2011, I think by this point, Henry Cavill had already been cast.
Okay.
20, yeah. Because if you remember, originally, Man of Steel was supposed to come out in 2012, and they kicked it to 2013.
See, I couldn't remember the years. Okay.
Yeah. So Cavill, conceivably, it would have been him, or maybe maybe you'd see him from behind, or it would have been like a Shazam thing. Where you know what I mean?
Or She-Ra.
Or She-Ra, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I know that in earlier draft, Alan Scott, the first Green Lantern, would have had a cameo also. I think it was like he's the president of the United States, and he shows up at the end being like, "You're okay, kid," or something like that.
Interesting.
Something to that effect. Now, if it was the writing credits are, it's like half the phone book is listed in the writing credits for this movie.
Really?
But Greg Berlanti, who apparently, he's screen credited and he's credited as producer. He's like, I had nothing to do with the movie and not much of what I intended made it in. He didn't have a great experience on this film, but by virtue of the contacts he made at Warner Brothers and with DC, he ended up producing a little show called Arrow a few years later.
Okay.
Which ended up spawning a whole Arrowverse.
Yeah, right. So
he did okay. And then, the current show, Lanterns, was originally developed by Berlanti. It was going to be a whole different thing from where we ended up. But you know how it is. Once James Gunn got in, he just swept it clean. He used his ring to create a big giant dustpan and brush.
Right.
Yeah. But what about you? Where are you at with this movie?
Yeah, just as I was watching it, I was honestly having a hard time keeping my interest with it. It's just there's not any humor that's appealing to me. There's not any action or set pieces appealing to me. There's no characters really appealing to me. But I don't think it's like terrible.
Yeah,
it's, like I was saying, it's just lackluster. It's there are worse things to look at for 2 hours, but yeah, it's just underwhelming.
Not your tempo.
Not my tempo. And I don't know why I would come back to this. Like, why would I ever watch this again, honestly? Like, again, like not for the humor, not for the characters, not for the story. I would just go to something else.
We've gotten our movie film commentary track out of the way, so I'm done for the rest of my life.
Right. But I was interested to revisit it.
Yeah.
And just because of its reputation and where superhero movies have gone, I was curious to go back with more years and movies under my belt and just kind of see how this held up. Like I was saying at the beginning, like, was this maybe a misunderstood, little runt of the litter that still kind of has its own, fun to be had, but not really.
Not so much.
Not for me.
I think honestly that tweet by Ryan Reynolds is a perfectly good place for everyone to land.
Yeah, I mean, people worked pretty hard on it.
Right. You can applaud the craft. Obviously, nobody sets out to make a bad movie. I will say, for me, one positive memory I do have about this. I have two positive memories, actually. One is going to WonderCon in San Francisco, and they had a big, panel. Ryan Reynolds was there. Somebody asked him to do the oath. He did the oath. They showed some footage. My oldest Hamza was 4 at that time, and he went with me, and we saw the trailer, the WonderCon trailer.
Yeah.
But I also remember the big marketing campaign around the movie, and I remember getting my two sons. You may have seen this picture. I got them ring and mask sets. And so I have a picture of Hamza and Mick there, 4 and 2.
Wow.
wearing these Green Lantern masks and just brandishing these rings. And honestly, that's the most pleasant memory I have of this movie is that moment when they did that.
Oh, that's really cute.
You know? But hey, let us know your thoughts on Green Lantern and let us know your thoughts on our thoughts. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. I really want to emphasize, if you're able to, please leave a rating and review for us there. Also, if you're listening to this show on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment there because we do read those on the show. We also have our Patreon page, Brian.
Yes, over at patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast. If you head over there, hit subscribe for only $5 a month. You'll find every commentary we've ever done, every episode we do moving forward, absolutely ad-free. You also find bonus conversations that we drop over there about twice a month that are a lot of fun. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show, which is no ads or interruptions, just randomly cutting into the middle of a sentence. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing the show. So if you're interested and able, please head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
And hey, if you're looking for me online, you can find me on social media at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also find me at the San Francisco Chronicle, where my review of Lanterns is live right now. So you can check that out. What about you, Brian?
You can find episodes I've written of Puppy Dog Pals and Young Jedi Adventures streaming on Disney+.
With that, on behalf of my partner Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been our movie film commentary track for Green Lantern. We will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.